You're with the Break-a-Leggers, and we're in the Midlands at the Wolverhampton Grand Theatre
to see the UK tour of the play 84 Charing Cross Road.
So stay tuned to find out how many legs,
whether it's break a leg
or leg it. Before you superb people go any further,
to make sure you've always got your finger on the theatrical pulse
for honest theatre reviews, news and interviews,
pop down and hit subscribe now.
Just pop down and hit subscribe now. Comment below, let us know about this production, if you've seen this tour or any other theatre you are passionate about. Join our Legger community.
We love to hear from you.
So 84 Charing Cross Road. What do we know about this?
Well, it's a true story of a friendship between Helene Hanff, an American obsessed with obscure classic literature, and Frank Doel, who was the owner of a bookshop called Marks & Co., which was located here. 84 Charing Cross Road, London.
Yes, that's where we are. Just on the wall here is an actual plaque saying that this is where the bookshop was.
Yep, the building is now occupied by a McDonald's, but it can be found just a few yards away from the Palace Theatre, which is the current home of Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Now, in real life, Helen and Frank never met, but they struck up a 20-year pen pal friendship, and the play was actually adapted from the 1970 memoir which contained the letters that they wrote to one another by Helene Hanff. It was then turned into a play in 1981 and then later adapted again into a screenplay for the 1987 movie of the same name starring Anne Bancroft and
Anthony Hopkins.
This new production here at the Grand is a new adaptation by James Roose Evans and directed by Richard Beecham.
Okay, what do we know about the cast?
Well, it stars Stefanie Powers of Heart to Heart fame. It was an American TV show, ran for years, had 8 two-hour movie adaptations. She's huge in that regard, and she's also got a lot of stage credits too.
Okay, I don't know her personally, so I look forward to getting to know you, Stefanie.
She's playing Helene, but in the role of Frank is star of stage and screen for more than 50 years, Clive Francis.
How long is this piece?
It's around 2 hours, including the interval, slightly over, so you'll want to stay tuned to see our 30-second interval breakdown.
And stick around to the end to find out how many legs.
We've come to the interval of 84 Charing Cross Road, which means it's time for the Break-a-Leggers
30-second interval breakdown.
Go! What do you think?
I'll go first then. I think it's quite quaint. It's quite charming. It's not moving at a great pace, but it's just quite a charming story told in a charming way.
Yeah, it's sweet. I can understand in terms of production they've put some music in there and the actors are playing instruments, which is fairly interesting, but it is a simple story and there's only so much you can do with that. But I'm sort of enchanted by the era. I'm feeling the period.
We've come to the end of this touring production of 84 Charing Cross Road. So, what did you make of that?
I thought it was a really lovely, sort of melancholy piece of theatre. It made me pine for a simplicity that I've never experienced. You know, living in a modern day and age surrounded by technology and the sort of overwhelmingness of being, you know, having news directly streamed to you as and when it happens, and everything's instant and everything, you need to be involved in things and that happening right now. And I think there was a real beautifulness about the simplicity of a relationship in this piece and the simplicity of the lives that those people's led at the time. It's left me feeling really sort of mournful in a way, yet I enjoyed the piece spoke to me in a very simple, kind of peaceful way.
Okay. I've got to say that for me, this is definitely a play of 2 acts, and you've got to see it through to the end. Coming out in the interval, I was thinking, it's okay. I thought the performances are solid, but the piece is kind of ambling along It's just quite nice, quite quaint, quite charming. However, come the end of the whole piece, once you've got the full journey, it really lands, and the whole 2 hours that you're sitting in the theatre is the setup for those landing moments.
And you say in a lot of pieces they don't have that punch. There's a huge amount
that
of
landing
setup,
moment,
but there's nothing in the way of kind of punch and actual
and it
reason,
landed with me, and come the end of that 2 hours, it really landed with me. And there's a lot of really nice themes within this, kind of the ideas of, you know, taking those opportunities while you still can. You don't know what suddenly is gonna be gone.
Tomorrow isn't a guarantee.
Yeah, YOLO. You only live once.
Gosh, no one's used that in several years. You're bringing that one back.
But do you know what I mean? You've got to kind of take these moments, and that really hit home with me. So I think come the end, it really worked. Now, is it a bit slower because they're having to write to each other? It goes from, what is it, the late 40s
late 40s, early 50s?
Because it was the end of the war where there's still a rationing going on.
Yeah, which went on far too long.
And writing letters, you know, letters would have taken a long time to go across the continent, and plus there were months between correspondence as well, so it feels very much as if it's transcript and transcribed from actual letters, almost verbatim in a way.
Yeah, I think that's the point. It is a verbatim piece. The memoir that this was based on had those letters in full, and I think it's an absolute joy that someone has taken that and put it on stage, because it did lend itself well to a theatrical environment. I think having it acted out in front of you and being in the shop, there were times that I felt like I was there amongst those people, celebrating the highs of getting the simple things like getting a tin of meat, and the joy of that in a ration era, you know, Great Britain, and ration era London. And I thought I revelled in their successes, and I also felt their pain in some of the things that they were going through, and I don't think I would have got that from reading it. I had to live it out with those actors as those characters.
Yeah, and there is something just very nice seeing things brought to life. Yeah, we could have read the book,
or watched the
film, but there is something magic about being there and living the experiences with the actors as they're
breathing
creating.
Their air.
Now all it does is go kind of from one scene to the other, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
From the setting of a New York apartment
to the
London in bookshop.
But it's predictable. I was going to say it's predictable. You know what's going to happen, and yet they are able to vary that with some nice on-stage actor-musicians.
Yes, and
musical
that's
interludes.
one thing I wanted to mention actually was the different styles of music that were used between the New York setting and the London setting, which echoed the period and certainly the fashion of the day musically. And I thought, as a directorial touch, that was beautiful.
Yes, and kind of touching on the seasons, and they're changing the seasons. So all in all, quite nice and quite moving.
Yeah,
so do we want to get
moving.
on to some cast members?
Yeah, I think let's talk about the ensemble cast first. For me, Samantha Sutherland, who played the role of Cecily Farr, she played it with great enthusiasm. I also very much liked, yeah, if I can find her, Lauren O'Dare, who had two roles to play, but played them sort of really strongly in both characterizations. She played the sort of slightly bumbling, slightly geeky bookshop worker, almost librarian-esque character of Megan Wells, but also this sassy American debutante of Maxine Stewart, and I thought that was great.
Yes, nice little kind of debutante. It's not a monologue because it's a written letter, but it's just a one cameo kind of part that she plays there.
Yeah.
Really nice change.
Absolutely. And moving on to the main cast, Stefanie Powers in the role of Helene Hanff. Do you know what? She's a really capable actress. It helps greatly that she's American. I know this part has been played in the past by Janie D. It's been played by British actress.
She had that sass. She had a New York sass and brashness
and
to
I
her.
just don't know if you can always get that from a British actress. I mean, sometimes you can. There are great British actresses out there, but do you know what? There was an authenticity to it, which I think came from her being a Native American, not a Native American.
Very quickly, I felt very comfortable and very safe with her her.
Yeah.
Her character didn't really develop or grow as much. She was kind of the same character throughout, which is fine. It suited this well, and it's nice because you got moments where she was drunk as well. She was able to vary that. She got times when she was angry as well. But this character just has a real passion for literature and history. You know, it's really a real interesting character.
And then, last but not least,
yes, is Clive Francis.
Yes, as Frank Doel.
I really liked how his character, however, on the other hand, did develop.
Went on a journey.
From, you know, being this very stiff upper lip, you know, I have a job to do, I'm kind of a professional librarian, everything has to be proper, and yet as this relationship developed, he got more casual, more friendly, opened up his heart.
Let himself go.
Let himself go.
And opened himself up to friendship and love and generosity, which is what this piece is largely about, and he characterised those things really well. His performance was, I think he's great. I think he's an absolute legend.
Yeah, they had this real natural style, almost as if they were thinking of the words as they were going along and really taking the time, but it made it extremely authentic on both sides. It was great.
Yeah.
Really nice, authentic performance.
Really engaging. Also, thought the set was brilliant, absolutely perfect
just right.
for what it was.
Yep.
That was by well, Feast Creative have done the design, and Norman Coates as well.
Okay, so nice subtle stuff. Again, come the very end, just some real simple changes to the set, which was just right.
Yeah.
I don't know, I just think the idea that if this was just a piece that someone had written, it would be okay. But the fact that it actually happened, it's based on real actual events, it gives it another level. So, I guess you're probably wondering how many legs we are going to give this piece.
Well, for the UK tour of 84 Charing Cross Road, we are going to give 4
legs for this piece. Yeah, it's a slow burner.
Yeah.
Stick with it. I don't know if it'd be for everyone. Don't go in anticipating some fast-paced, moving.
Edgy.
No, but bear with it.
Yeah.
It's a slow burner.
It's worth the payoff, is what it is ultimately.
Yeah.
It's just a very simple, charming, nostalgic story, and one that is really well suited to the stage.
I mean, you may know it already and know what to expect. If you don't, then stick with it.
Yes, come and see this piece. Anyway, if you have, let us know below. Make sure you hit like so we know you're there, and we're the Break-A-Leggers, and we'll catch you again soon.
Bye!